Hello, good afternoon. Well, good evening, sorry, should I say. Welcome to another episode of the City event. Another live one. We're joined by a panel of City fans. We'll discuss all things City, from Adam Clayton down to vlogging, which has been a bit of a topic of discussion on Twitter today, and some other bits and bobs as well. So just before we get into it, I'm just going to welcome our panel today. So first off, we've got Gillet. Are you well, sir?
Yeah, all well. Nice to have me on again, Adam. Cheers. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming on. Johnny as well. Are you all right, Johnny?
Not bad yourself.
Good, mate. Very good. Tom?
Oh, mate, yeah, good to be here.
Good. It's always awkward, this one, isn't it? And then got Cameron as well.
How you doing? You all right?
It's like fucking Family Fortunes. A university challenge, innit? You're like, what the fuck do I say? But you all did well, gents. That's a good start. So, yeah, first talking point this evening is Adam Clayton. Obviously, the statement's come out today that he's going to be injured for foreseeable hamstring. So does that mean rest it season? For me personally, fantastic. You know, the impact he's had not only on the pitch, but you can tell that off the pitch with leadership skills and stuff like that. How big of a loss is Adam Clayton for this running of 9 games? Gilly, I'll come to you first, mate.
It's been good for us, but again, I'm quite excited for somebody else to come into that midfield, like I've been kind of preaching for a few weeks. So, personally, it wasn't massively bad news for me. I think it might help us out at home, where we might get some more like pace and power, quicker play the ball.
Who is this player that you're speaking of, Gilly? I mean, tell us, mate.
Well, Phil Osadibe when he's back fit, and then East can come in, can't he? And then we might see Smallwood improve as well, but it's just in his anchor. I assume he'll go to the anchor. But I think at home it might definitely be beneficial to us moving the ball quicker. Away from home, I'm not so sure. I think Clayton's really good to have away from home. Just keeps it ticking, keeps it simple. But it can be a culprit, slowing us down a bit too much at home for my liking.
Okay. No, it's fair. Fair comments, mate. Anybody else want to wade into that one? Tom, Johnny, Cameron? Anybody?
I think it's not as bad as people are making out. It'll be a big loss. He does away from home help a bit. But I think at home it just means we've no choice really other than to go more attacking. Can see it being the start of maybe a back three. Midfield five that was seen towards the end the other day.
Do you think it'll be a back three or a back five situation?
I think he'll switch to a back three because I think how Critchlow played the other day when he came on. I don't see how he doesn't get back in that 11. But then again, the other two centre backs, I don't think have done anything to be dropped.
We'll come back to that on centre backs because I totally agree with what you just said about Critchlow. I thought it was brilliant when he came on. Tom, you wanted to wade in as well, I think, with a comment there, mate.
Yeah, I think his corners are pretty good, and I think we'll miss them. But we have got Banks who can take a corner as well. So we're not too short in that aspect. But yeah, he's just one of them players that sort of he does what he needs to do. He's there, and he does a bloody good job. And I think we will miss him if he's out long term. Which, with it being a hamstring, like you said, does worry me because it's one of them injuries where it's hard to gauge how long he'll be out. It could be ages, but yeah, we'll see.
His age as well for a hamstring. It's not going to be. It's going to be more towards longer end than shorter end, isn't it? Really.
I've got a feeling we won't see him again. Personally, I've just got a feeling, just like you say, with age and everything else that's going against him, really. But yeah, just to come back on you there, Tom. I think is Mr. always there. I think we probably don't appreciate that he's always in the right place at the right time. Gets himself out of situation. There's only once this season where he's fucked up, for want of a better phrase, when that was the Barrow goal, won it at home, when he tried to do a turn. But apart from that, like 9 times out of 10, he's got out of trouble, and he's set us off on the front foot again. So for me, I think we're really going to miss him. Johnny, is anything you want to add on Clayton, mate? Are you a fan of him?
Yeah, massive fan of him. Going back what Tom just said then. Yeah, we're going to miss him. Don't get me wrong. But who's going to replace him? You know what I mean? He's saying we've got a massive squad now. You look at Derek Adams when he took over. We had a massive squad then as well. who we got now to replace him?
Yeah, I mean, like Gilly alluded to there, you've got Osadibe, haven't you, and East that are sort of ready to rock and roll in behind. And East, I absolutely love East. I think he's a fantastic player. Never let us down. But he'd come in straight away and fill that gap. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, but I mean, East is. I mean, look at the players we've sent on loan as well. We've got a massive squad this season. I don't know, East. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a patch on him.
You don't think? See,
No,
I think, but East is never shown us. Well, I don't know. He's never had a bad game, in my opinion. I feel like he's been solid in every game he's played. Salford early on in the season, really good. When he came in when Smallwood were out at home, who were that against at home? Did we draw that game? He had a good game then.
Mansfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just is very reliable when he comes back in. But again, I guess if you're comparing him, is it apples with apples possibly with them sort of players? I think East adds that little bit more energy in the middle. Like he's buzzing about everywhere, isn't he? And he's a bit of a different sort of player to Clayton. So he is going to be a big miss, I guess. But does that mean Smallwood's going to go back into that position, do we think? Like, do you think he's going to drop back in there and it's going to be Gilly and East more advanced in front of him? Or what are your thoughts on that? How we're going to change it up? Or do you think we're going to go to a back five? Anybody come back to me on that one?
I think it's going to be a 5. Gilead moves over to the sort of left wing back role where he played the other day. Either Osadibe or East comes into the middle with Smallwood and then Critchlow into a back 3.
Yeah. And Critchlow for Rydal, somebody's just put on the chat. So Critchlow came on, didn't he? It's sort of the left-hand side, left-back position. Is this another case of square peg round hole?
I don't think the position he was because it was sort of the left of a 3, allowing him to push forward. I know it's different quality of football. Remember Sheffield United did it their promotion season with the full-backs allowed to go forward, and I thought he did very well when he was going forward, to be honest.
Yeah, he seemed to want to carry it out, didn't he? And
yeah.
I don't think you get that from the other 2 centre-backs,
No.
what Critchlow offers. And I mean, somebody else mentioned, would Critchlow suit that defensive midfielder role and go in for Clayton? But again, I'm one of these people that it sort of irks me a bit when you're saying put that player there, playing there, when they come through the academies and whatever, playing in certain positions, and then
I think maybe left of a back 3 where he was probably his best position.
Yeah,
but I think moving him into midfield, I don't think he'd be as good as a shout as people are saying.
It's a bit like we were moved about. Go on, Tom.
I don't think now is the time for experiments, if I'm going to be honest. Putting Critchlow in midfield, these next 9, was it 9 games? 9 games we've got? Yeah, massive. We can't be putting people in new positions and testing them out. It's just too risky.
When you've got players that can play in those positions, that are proven in playing those positions, surely that'd be the right way to go about it. I, however, would bring Critchlow back into back 4. I'd play Critchlow and Stubbs tomorrow. I just think that he's just such a classy player, and it could be so important in the running. Again, I've said this time and time again, I know I'm boring, but the way that he wants to come out back, and you just don't get that from the other 2, who have been absolutely solid, to be fair. Let's give him credit. But you've got to get your best centre-back in the squad, in the starting 11, and is Critchlow the best centre-back? I know Stubbs is probably a big fan of you guys, are a big fan of Stubbs, but for me, I think Critchlow's the best and he's going to have the best sort of career out of the centre-backs we've got. So, anything to add on that one, gents, on Clayton's injury or anything in relation to the centre-backs that anybody wants to add? Come in.
Just with Critchlow in midfield, he did actually say that he was a midfielder in non-league, and it was Huddersfield where they've converted him.
Oh, is it? Is that so?
Yeah. So it might not be as alien as what we think possibly it is.
That's interesting. Didn't know that.
But I don't know how many professional games he's had at Midlet Park. Obviously, it's a different level, and he might not have played for a few years there. But I think I was watching him play FIFA on Twitch, Joe, when he was doing a bit of Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
And I think someone asked him a question if he could play anywhere else. And I remember quite distinctly that he said he played in midfield,
right?
Until he came to Huddersfield. So,
you can see it, can't you? To be fair, when you watch him, he's a ball player, centre back, isn't he? So you can see that he's got it in him. So it's not a massive shock, but is it still a risk to, when he's been playing centre back all season, to slot him into midfield when you've got players that can do it, that are in backup already?
It doesn't. Hughes, to me, doesn't strike me as one to to be a
gamble.
tinker at all,
Yeah.
or he don't come across as a risk taker to me. So I
Saying
think
that
it's
though,
going to
he's played Chapman out of position all season.
be yes.
So
Yeah,
is there something in that?
yeah, possibly.
It's an interesting point, isn't it? And I guess we'll have to just see what he does. But for me, you've got a like for like, and bring East in straight away. I'd
Yeah,
probably stick with
definitely.
the information personally, and bring Easty in. And Ossidi, be a big fan of him as well. But I think he's probably going to take a few games. Easty's fit, isn't he? He's ready to rock and roll. He's been playing bit parts over the last couple of weeks, so
He's
he's got to
hungry
be
as
there.
well.
He is, isn't he? And he's hungry to prove a point. When he comes on, you can sort of feel it. Do you remember that game that Gareth Evans came on and he were out in the cold all season? And he came on and he scored, didn't he? At home. Who did we play that game? Do you remember it? Were it last season?
Just as Hughes,
season.
it was just as Hughes took over, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he brought him back in, didn't he? And he had an absolute barnstop, and it was a bit of a fuck you, wasn't it, to be honest, to Derek Adams. And I feel like players, when they've got that point to prove, Andy Cook's a big example of it. They come on and they seem to, grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. So hopefully he will come in. Now, just talking about midfielders, there's another one in our league that's having a really good season. I don't know if anybody's going to guess what I'm going to allude to here, but
Oh, God.
So Elliot Watt was a bit of Marmite, I'd say, last season. Tried his worldly passes. The passes, the assists he got, I don't know how many he got for us, but some people loved him. Some people loved to hate Elliot Watt. And I think he's a leading assist in England, is he, something? I don't know. Definitely in League Two.
All Europe, isn't it?
Is that Europe?
I'm pretty sure, for midfielders anyway.
And there's championship clubs knocking on the door. I think there's 3 or 4 that are interested in him. So is that the one that got away, or do you think it's just one of those things in football where players go and do better things?
I'd say the one that got away.
You reckon?
I think it's classic Bradford City. We don't get the full potential out of someone. Let them go. Someone else, he goes somewhere else and has an absolute blinder. How many times have we seen that?
I think he's a bit of a shrinker, me, Elliot Watt, because when he came to play at our place, his arse fell out again and he didn't have a good game at all. And I feel like
No, he didn't.
When he steps up again, if he gets his championship move to a club that are getting over 10,000 a week, is he going to struggle again a little bit? I guess that time will tell, but I think that might be his issue. Does anybody else want to come in on that, Gillett?
Yeah, I would neither here or there with him, really. Do you know? But I think would have been comfortably top 3 with him in midfield this year. I think would have been more creative. So yeah, I think he's got away. I think Vernon would have been a good option for us this year as well. Just as wingers haven't really done it, have they either? I know he wanted to go as well, but I would say that I wasn't too bothered, but it's come back to bite us just a bit. I think just with them assists from midfield and just a bit of creativity in there, we haven't had any, have we? Really, it's just been get it wide, get it crossed in, and Andy Cook to put the minimal chances away. But if we just had a bit more guile in that midfield, I think we'd have been quite comfortably sat in top 3 personally.
I mean, it's quite telling, isn't it, that Andy Cook's probably assisted himself more than anybody else assisted him, in general, by just, I mean, even at Carlisle at home, he nearly got a few chances, didn't he, by just bullying defenders about. And he's just having one of those seasons, isn't he? But I think he's the leading assist as well, just in general for the players when I'm looking at. I think he's got 5, hasn't he? And he's 22 goals, 5 assists. So for us, I think he's got the most assists in the squad. And that, for a centre forward, you've got to be creating goals from in behind, haven't you? Like between, Gilly, I know Gilly gets a lot of stick for this because he doesn't contribute a lot, does he, in regards to assists and goals, but not this Gilly. Now let's Gilly up. And I think that's been a problem for us. And when you're looking at Elliot, what else we're doing that, I think it's a bit, I don't know. I just don't think he'd have done it for us personally, but I guess we'll see where he goes in his career. Johnny, I want to come at you, mate. You're very dark, though. I don't know if you want to put a light on. The light's better. I can see you now.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
It was like a bright idea above his head.
You should have done that, actually, when you were about to respond. Have you got any thoughts on that?
That's really what, though. Fuck him. I never liked him. At City.
Why?
I never liked
with sort of just the passes going astray and stuff like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on him?
I never liked him at City. He did okay, don't get me wrong. But when he left, he had the chance to go to City, City, and like be under Mark Hughes, and he went to Salford under an under-21 manager who took over, and he was saying like, this is the best team I want to go to, sort of thing. He had the chance to go, to be with Mark Hughes. He's a fantastic football player, and he fucked off. So to me, I can't be arsed with him. Yes, don't get me wrong, he's been right this year, but nah, not for me.
At this level, you can't turn down that money, can you? Like it's a short career, isn't it? Like
it's money or career. What do you choose? A lot of football players now would choose the money.
Yeah, he's doing the same job for probably a lot more money than.
And you know what? It's probably suiting him and all because he's playing better, isn't he? And it's that maybe the pressure's off a little bit of a big club and expectation on his shoulders. Because let's not forget that Derek Adams put a lot of pressure on his shoulders for a young fella. That it was his first proper goal, wasn't it, in Football League? I think he'd been on loans and stuff like that. But his first full season. Have I got that wrong? But it seemed to be anyway that we're all eggs in one basket and backing him to do all the work and create everything. So I guess it's one of those things with Elliot Watt. He's been and gone, and it's just one of these plays that happens. And it was City. Owen Doyle's another one of recent times. I know Lewis O'Brien were decent for us, but look at him. He's all over American news and stuff now, which is bonkers. But he's getting spotted at basketball games and shit. So yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? So we're going to move it on a little bit.
Sorry.
You're going to add something? No, you're right, mate. If you want to add something else.
You can't argue Salford at a big club because of all the owners have got. And then he goes there and I'm thinking to myself, you've gone there for the money. In my opinion, that's why he's gone there.
And I guess he's probably had a massive stroke, hasn't he? We can't really lie about it because he's had a brilliant season. He's getting paid more. And when we played him, the beat isn't cooked, didn't he? And he came over to our fans and he was just going like this about the money because he's been. I love a bit of that shit I was in. I think it's brilliant. I love it when footballers do it. And I'm saying that though, imagine if Jordan Gibson had scored that goal in that fucking last minute.
Oh my God!
I killed myself.
Waiting for the Twitter onslaught from his dad, giving us loads of shit. But again, I mean, when you look at the sort of what he did there, when we ain't got really players that are willing to do that, to have a shot like he did. And I feel like we've missed that sort of player all season. Jamie Walker potentially, but somebody will just absolutely run at him and just have a shot from about 25 yards out or something. I feel like that is what we've missed, especially in late moments in games. So I'm going to move on. So we're going to speak about the Grimsby game. So 1:00 kickoff at the weekend. I mean, I'm going to ask you the question. I'm sure you're going to respond with the answer I'm expecting. But is it a must-win game? Anybody?
At this point, yeah. Every home game is.
And do you think we're going to win it?
I think, yeah.
On what? Why do you assume we're going to win it, mate?
We've got to go more attacking, obviously, with Clayton being out, players like Derbyshire. Am I right in thinking he's back? Also, Debbie might be back in squad. I just think the fact we've got to be more attacking. And it's coming to this end of the season now where I think the players will know deep down something's got to change.
Do you not think that we'll go to 4-2-3-1 with Clayton being out? Do you not think he'll just put Smold and Gilly back in middle?
I've just got a feeling he's going to go with a back three. I might be wrong, but I think with the way Critchlow played, he has to come back in. And then I just don't think he's going to drop Platt after starting pretty much every league game, maybe every league game so far.
But does a back three allow us to be more attacking?
I'd say, providing we get the two, it allows us two strikers, the number 10 in behind, and then get East in the midfield who pushes us forward a bit. I think that's more attacking than the three defensive midfielders in the other system.
But would you play a back three with two fullbacks? So you would have Halliday and Rydell?
I'd have Halliday on the right, Gilead on the left, sort of as he played towards the end of the last game.
Right, okay. I just when we've switched to that back three, back five, we've looked a lot more defensive in games. So we've done it when we've needed to maybe protect something. So barring the Carlisle game, but when you look back at games when we've done it, it seems to be more is a defensive approach from Mark Hughes? Would you not say?
Probably not, because I think the other day when Critchlow played in that sort of left-hand side of the three, he was pushing forward an awful lot. I know it's probably say we're going for the winner, but if we have got a player like him that can drag the ball out of defence, I don't think it'd be too much of an issue at all.
Okay, we've simply lost Johnny. I'm sure he'll come back, but no, that's fine. And anything to add from that, Tom, Gilly, or what else on that one?
Yeah, I think it depends what he tells them to do, because we can play attacking and defensive with that back three. It just depends what he tells the fullbacks to do. If he tells them to get up the field like we did against Carlisle, sort of the last 20 minutes, I think we'll absolutely trounce them. If we sit back, I think it's just going to be another draw.
Yeah. See, I just can't see him going 5 at back. I don't know if it's just I can't see us starting like that. I don't see the need when you've got the possibility to play a 4-2-3-1. And I don't know. I mean, Gilly, I'll let you come in. I'd rather other people's opinions be heard than mine. But
yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. They're an inconsistent team of Grimsby out there. Obviously, they've had a good cup run, put everything into that. But I thought they were going to do quite well this year. But the league form's been not good at all, has it really? So they're there for taking. I just wanting to just go for it. Like, I just don't want the season to just end with a whimper and just
have a go
for the next few years, you know.
Just I think we saw it a little bit early on in the season, didn't we? Where we were proper having a go at teams, and it just seemed to ebb away, that attacking intent that we've had, and we've not really seen it come back. I'm not saying we did it to the whole game and flew at teams, but certain games early on at home, it seems to be first 20 minutes we're absolutely, brilliant door down, won't we? And we don't seem to have seen that for a while. And I think teams would absolutely shit it if we did it, at home especially. And at Grimsby, have they got out to play for? I don't think they have. I don't think they can realistically go down or get the playoffs. So does that make it more of an issue, or are they sort of on holiday already? I don't know.
I think that's our Achilles heel at the moment.
What, hope being home?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when teams, I've said it before, like when teams come to our place, it's their Wembley.
Yeah,
and then they'll play the tops off. I mean, look at Hartlepool the week. We were losing, got a draw, then losing again, then got a draw again. We were relying on Andy Cook all the time.
They had a new manager though, didn't they, Hartlepool? So they essentially do have stuff. Yeah, they have stuff to play for, because they get themselves a new contract for new manager, don't they? Like,
and they need to survive in the league, don't they? So it's like, but I must say that probably one of, if you were neutral, that was probably one of the best games to watch this season in League Two. I thought it were really end to end. They went for it. What was that? Sorry.
It was a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that I think Grimsby this week it's been our game for us.
Yeah, and we're too reliant on Cook. We were the point, wasn't it? And I guess we are.
Yeah.
He's coming.
There's no one else squad who's. I don't know. I'm trying to think now who's our next goal scorer below Cook. I don't even know it. Like 4 goals or something like that. I'm trying to think who it is.
The goals. The next sort of goal scored. Do you mean in the squad?
Yeah, I mean we've got Cook now. Obviously, our highest goal scorer. It was the next one.
I think is it Smallwood?
Right. I think it's right.
Right. Yeah, I think Smallwood's got 3 on it, but he's got more assists now. I think, and then it's.
Right. Oliver and Young are all on 4. I think.
So Young.
Exactly.
That's bomb. It's still up there.
What does that tell us? I mean,
what was that, Johnny? Sorry. A bit, mate.
What does that tell us? You know what I mean? Like Cook has literally kept us up that league this season.
Well, there's 2 players.
With the goals
they did like the team of the season so far based on ratings or whatever from that. Whatever rated me, I can't remember which called, but
who scored? I think
Lewis scored. Lewis and Cook are both in there, and it's telling tale. And without them 2, we'd be absolutely knackered.
Exactly. I mean, Look at Tyler Wright. Right, sorry, he's got the Plymouth. He's not even playing a game now. You know what I mean? He could be back in that squad. You know what I mean? He was fantastic for us. Went to Plymouth. He's not even playing a game.
But you can't begrudge him that move. I mean, he's going to do it because they're going up. That he's going to be in a championship team next season with a chance of playing championship football. So he's 100% made the right move. And
yeah, he's made the right move. Well, has he though? Because he's not even playing League One now. I mean, I looked at the squad the other day. He wasn't even on the bench.
I mean, you'd be naive to think, and it's probably very much of a City fan to think that he'd stay with us in League Two or go to a team that at the top of League One that are probably going to win League One. I mean, that's ludicrous to even think he's made a wrong decision. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. It's not ludicrous because it's your point, but that's what's saying inside of it. That why would you turn down a move to Plymouth? That's bonkers to me. And he's a young player as well. He's a young player that'll probably get his chance at some point next season. You know, maybe coming off the bench in the Championship. But
he's in a win-win situation. He's either going to have a great pre-season and manager might fancy him again, or he'll get another good loan move. Like I think he's done enough with us to show that he can either go top end of League Two again, or they'll just drop him back down at League One again. So I think he's in a win-win situation, really. Obviously, sold us a bit short, but it wasn't our decision. If we'd have sold him, then we could kind of whinge a bit more. But he wasn't our player to.
Well, I think there's more gone on than what meets the eye with Tyreek Wright. I feel like City were probably under the impression that he was staying at City beyond this season, and I guess agents do what agents do. They pimp players out, don't they? And again, I just can't begrudge him. It's like if Harry Lewis leaves at the end of the season and goes to Championship, what we're going to say? I shouldn't have moved there. Should have stayed with us. You've got to let these players progress, and it's where we are. It's a business, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's their career. They've got short careers, so they move on. And I think it's going to be gutting when Harry Lewis leaves. I mean, God, the
and he will.
He will. He 100% will. Yeah. I think if we go up, he'll stay with us. He'll give it a go in League One. But if not, he's 100% gone this season. Yeah, Harry Lewis. So yeah, Andy Cook. We sort of briefly touched on him there. Being a bit of a one-man team this season. Are we still a bit surprised that there's been no contract talks for Andy Cook? Because I'd have expected something by now. I think Mark Hughes said that they don't want any distractions and they want to do it when the season's over. But should you not be trying to tie him down? Because by law, teams can come and poach him, can't they, and try and sign him now, I think, for next season.
Yep. It's mind-boggling that we've not gone in for him. We're just opening up ourselves to lose him. I mean, he loves this club. He wants to stay, but he could easily have his head turned. You know, it's... I think it's just ridiculous. You never know. Maybe something's going on behind the scenes now. We don't know, do we? But yeah, we need to hurry up.
But what could the other players say? They can't really sulk about it, can they? Go, oh, why has he got a contract and I'm not in talks? You know what I mean? None of them have put the case forward, have they? Like him to.
No.
So would it really cause that much unrest to give him a deal? I think it's a bit of a poor excuse, me. To be fair.
So it sounds like we're all in agreement that it should be signed on dotted line.
Yeah. I just don't see how it would be a bad. Give fans a buzz. I know he's playing out of his skin. He doesn't really need much more, but I just don't see any really negative impact that it could give the squad. Or
it could potentially give him a lift as well, Gilly, because if he's got an extension for playing well, it's one of them, isn't it? Like you're being sort of what's the word? I can't think of it. Like not praised, but you're sort of being. Do any job respects when you're noticed for doing something? You feel like you've. Can't think of the word. Somebody help me. What is it? Anyway, whatever. But
I've got a theory.
Go
on. I've got a theory on why he's not offered him a contract yet. Cook's a bit of a motivation player. We saw that from when he was dropped for a bit, and he was angry when he came back on the field. I think he's worried if he gives him a contract now, he'll sort of go on holiday for the rest of the season, sort of as a mindset. But I don't personally think he would. I think he'd still play his heart out, but I think that's what Hughes is worried about.
that's like the risk in Hughes' mind that if he gives him it, he's going to think, oh, fuck it, I'm staying here next season anyway. But surely, I know what you're saying, and it's a good point, but you'd want to be playing League One football, wouldn't you? If you stayed, like it'd make no sense to drop off, unless you'd already secured the goods, I guess. But yeah, I just think it's baffling. I don't understand it. I'm totally with Gilly on this. I know it's start season, and people bring up every time. I'm not going to let one of you lads do it. I'm going to do it myself. But I said that it should be gone. It should have gone. Fucking ludicrous. But there we go. I've had some fucking worse opinions in my life, to be honest. But now you've got to be doing everything to keep him. You know, second top goal scorer in England, and do you know what? It's not even that he's getting loads of chances. He's getting very minimal chances and converting absolutely everything. And it's just
makes it
might not be urgent in his ear though.
But he's publicly said he wants to stay, hasn't he? Like, surely. It doesn't seem like we've offered out to me. Or maybe we have. Maybe we've offered him something and he's waiting until...
I'd be hoping we have, but I just personally think it's easy for him to say he loves it here, but how many times have we seen it? If he gets offered double wages somewhere else, as much as I want him to stay, and he does seem to like it, we've got to be realistic. It's probably his next contract's going to be his last one.
Yeah.
Probably at this sort of level at his age. And if he does get his money doubled, who could blame him?
Wrexham.
Well,
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, yeah. I guess they're going to be probably stung by the cap out the door when they come up.
It's not in place anymore, is it?
Is it not?
No, they ended the cap.
I thought they'd suspended it for a bit.
Isn't there some sort of cap though? No, not at all.
There's financial fair play, but I think if teams come up, it doesn't apply, or there's some other thing that lets them off for so long.
Well,
that's how Salford got away with it.
Yeah, this is why we need to go up this season.
Look at all
money back.
They're getting a Netflix documentary as well, so that'll be a lot. Because it goes on your income, not
right. And they're playing Man United out in a fucking pre-season friendly. I mean,
the amount of sponsors they'll have when they come up will just be ridiculous.
They'll probably just go through leagues, won't they? Be in Championship.
I think they'll absolutely piss this league if they come up. To be honest,
makes me sick with fucking jealousy. To be honest with you, because I loved it. You know, done what they've done at Wrexham to us, but I hate it. I hate people calling it a fairy tale as well. I'm just desperate for Notts County to pip them to it. I really am.
I'd love it.
It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? And then if we end up staying where we are for another season, we might have a chance again. But like Gilly said, it makes it even more important because, I mean, even Notts County absolutely tearing it a new one. They're both on like 93 points, both probably going to get 100 points in a season, which is unheard of, isn't it, for two teams to do it in National League? So I
think that just makes it more of a joke. The fact only one team comes up automatic from that league as well. It's nearly changing for a long time.
It's a League 3 in its own right. It really is. There's not a massive drop like there used to be. You know, teams used to come up and get bullied, didn't they, off the field, and they just dropped back down. But we're not seeing it now. Teams are sort of sustainable. The teams that are going down are, you know, Scunthorpes, Oldhams, Rochdales. It's all the teams that have been in the Football League for years that seem to drop. Rochdale are knackered and all that. That's another story. But it's hard work. And God, we were close to it, weren't we, a couple of seasons ago? So yeah, I wouldn't want to do it though because we'd just never get out of it. If we dropped out, we'd be knackered. But yeah, the time is now. So we're going to move on a little bit because I've got a few more bits and pieces that I want to talk about. This one's a little bit off topic, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What is your perfect sort of food or scran is the new sort of buzzword for it at a football ground? Not saying that you guys eat, but the offerings at City, for me, aren't particularly interesting. I know we've got the new pizza twist this season, but what would you like to see, or what is a perfect sort of food to have at a football ground? Anybody can jump in who's enthusiastic about this one.
I'm happy with pizza twists, to be honest.
Big fan. They are better though. They are better than bad. But would you not want a bit of local produce? You know, some barges or, you know, with a bit of dip or something. That'd be ideal for me. Something easy, quick and easy. You know, using the local, you know, caterers around the area to supply bits and pieces. It just seems like we're missing a trick because the match day experience is another thing we'll touch on as well in a minute. But I think it's pretty poor at City. Like, it just seems a bit half-assed. We've got 18,000 people turn up every week. Surely you'd want to try and keep that trade and want people to keep coming back with doing more. So yeah, I mean, Tom, I'll ask you as well. What's because pizza twist Cameron's answer, but what's your ideal sort of food?
Yeah, I've touched on this before, but you know, we've got so many local businesses with food and takeaways and stuff. You know, we're essentially the curry capital of the UK.
Yep.
And we just don't capitalise on it. It's mad. This deal we've got with this catering company, it's been pretty poor from the start, hasn't it, really? I mean, there were problems when they first came in, kiosks not being open and not having food and stuff. Even the beer selection isn't great, is it? I mean, it's Carling pretty much. I think they've brought in Moretti now, is it? Madrid, that's it.
Yeah, the exotic cause, isn't it? It's just cause with a different label on, I think.
Yeah. I just think we're missing a massive trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if we'd started doing local vendors in them, and what's that little match day thing we've got outside the Cup? Yeah, that's it. Even if we did it in there.
Somebody's put about the chips at Bradford Park Avenue, and do you know what? I did go to friendly pre-season. They're like proper chip shop chips. They're absolutely banging. But there's nothing fresh, is it? It's all just microwave shit, just for speed and ease, and it just doesn't make me interested in buying it. But when you look at the footy scran, there's only sort of maybe teams like Hull that are really doing it, like not artisan, but having a real go at it out. The big teams just seem to just put shit out, you know, them Rustlers burgers and fucking rollover hot dogs. Whereas like teams lower down, like Dulwich Hamlet, are doing these big burgers out there, these stacked burgers and incredible food. But like you say, you could even get stuff from restaurants like Pakiza, sorry, not restaurants, supermarkets, where they do all the chic kebabs where you can just reheat them and stuff and put them in a wrap or something, you know, just do something a bit different. But yeah, I'm just a bit, I don't, not really drags me to the ground or, you know, to get there early. Like if there were a good offering on food or beer, or deals like, you know, to make it cheap and reasonable, you probably would be more intrigued, wouldn't you?
Even with the booze, it's not what I drink, but it's like Salt Air Brewery down the road.
Exactly. Timmy Taylor's in Keighley.
It's just madness. I don't know if it's probably going to be cost, isn't it? They'll probably charge more than the Carling breweries and stuff. That'll be what it's down to, I would have thought.
Well, you say that, but Barnsley have just got Salt Air in their kiosks. I'm sure they have, unless I've imagined that.
Oh no, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right, actually. If
they can do it and transport it all the way there, it's literally, like you say, 2 mile down the road, isn't it? So
yeah, even Dog Botherers at town, I think they've got Magic Rock Brewery, which is local to them.
Yeah, and people love it now as well. You know, all these ales and stuff. It's like massive, in it. You know, they're so popular. So surely,
when did these lot come in? Was it the start of last season? Was it?
Yeah,
I think I had a chicken. I think I got a chicken burger. I don't normally eat really, but I thought I'll see what they're like. And it were literally like two little chicken. I thought it was going to be like a chicken burger, but it was like just two little chicken goujons thrown in a burger bun. I'm like, oh god, has it really changed, really? Like,
get you sent to Salars before. Get two meals for £6.
Well, when I used to drink at Aegis pre-match, I just used to go to Sweet Centre and get like little bag of barges for a couple of quid, and then just
take them with you.
Take them with me. But that's all it needed. Just a bit of, obviously, curry's a bit awkward to eat, but just like the barges and samosas and stuff, it'd be enough, wouldn't it?
I mean, even if, like you say, in the fan zone that Tom alluded to there, that they had a few stores before you went in, and they had them in metal containers or whatever, you know, something safe that you can take inside, and then you could take it in, couldn't you, or eat it there or whatever, you know, just somebody to think outside the box and be like, right, come, we're going to speak to these local businesses, because if somebody like the Peacock do it, because they do their own food, if they came up and did it, they won't be charging a lot. They would not be charging the same prices as what you're paying inside for a sweaty burger. So it just seems like we need to really buy into that. I mean, talking another thing as well about sponsorship. Honest, Johnny, is that what you want to sort of add in, mate, on the food side? Do you eat at the ground?
Well, yeah, it annoys me actually because I sit in the Bantams bar in the top, and what annoys me is I pay a bit extra for that. And when we used to walk up, there used to be a security guard on the door. When you had the Bantams bar pass, you could walk in. But any Tom, Dick, and Harry can walk in there now. So we're walking in now.
I'll be in there next game.
Yeah. Cheers for the heads up.
Yeah, cheers for that. You've just told everybody on the BCFC hashtag. It'll be even more packed. Yeah. But no, it's right. So that's true. They don't have any sort of security on at the minute.
Nothing at all. So we're paying extra money for that. So we're walking in, and you can't get a drink. You know, you can't get food because so many people going in there. It's ridiculous. So I think, why am I paying this extra money?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's like I say, it's good to know. It's good to know for me. I think I'll be in there.
You know, another. This is probably.
Down.
What's that, Johnny?
I said, come down. You might as well. Everyone else does.
Yeah, I might as well. Yeah, join the brigade. Tom, go on. You were going to dive in there, mate.
You know, this is probably a bit of a selfish one, but I've noticed there's no like alcohol-free beer out like that. Like, I'm on a indefinite break from alcohol, so there's not for me at the ground there, and I assume there'd be others there who'd want some.
Yeah,
we don't have any option for that.
Like a 0% job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I love a non-alcoholic beer. I drink it all the time, and there's none of that unless the Bantams bar might do it, but at the kiosks in the concourse is definitely not there.
I guess from a business perspective, if we're putting a business hat on here, what they'll probably think is that they won't sell enough of it because they'd have to stock it in every single kiosk possibly, or at least one in each stand. And I bet they'd probably have a lot of waste stock because there might only be, I don't know, 5 or 6 people that drink it. So that's possibly why, because what they'll say is we've got soft drinks that you can drink. But I think you make a good point, and even if they did it in the fan zone, you know, before you went in or something, just to maybe entice you there. But you do make a good point because I think there's probably more people than what you realise that would probably want an alcoholic. I'd include my dad in that conversation because I used to drink it. So good point. Maybe it's something that you can put forward, or we can put forward to the club to do something for that. Because to be fair, they do seem to be getting on board with things and how the world's changing because we've got the Her Game too. I don't know if anybody's seen, but Jamie Walker's become the ambassador for the ladies that are doing that, which that's a good thing, you know, getting more girls involved in football when they're younger and stuff and making them feel a bit more, you know, at home at Bradford. So surely, you know, campaigns like that would mean that, you know, they could do something. Hopefully.
Plus, our population is a high percentage of Muslims in Bradford. So I don't know if they're allowed to drink non-alcoholic beer, but I don't know. It's worth a shout, maybe.
Definitely, yeah. It's probably worth feeding back to them. So yeah, and on the sort of the topic of the sponsorship and stuff like that, and understand Morrison's have come in. I don't know if anybody's seen that leaked on the hashtag, but they seem to have sponsored the family stand. I think it was Bradford University last year. Anybody know that?
I think the stadium's
not the stadium. No.
Is that the stadium? So what's the main stand? What was the main stand? Was it the internet? Was it Brisk or something?
Couldn't tell you.
But to be fair, from a business perspective, I know that people might not be happy at certain things on the pitch or whatever's going on, but we seem to be coming on leaps and bounds. Like Morrison's, massive Bradford brand. Like for years and years, they've not had any involvement at City, and you know now they're sponsoring the main stand. You've got to give absolute credit to, I think it's David Longo, is it, that's running that commercial side of things, and Ryan Sparks before him. It's quite impressive, isn't it, what they're doing off the pitch? Cameron, thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, it's impressive. The more companies, the better, and the fact that it's a Bradford-based business, even more so.
It seems like we're really sort of home in, doesn't it, on the Bradford businesses, and you know when you look around the ground, it's pretty much. I mean, there's the Carlsberg here, whatever. It seems to be local brands. Well, Brisk, I think BRSK, that's Bradford based, and also it's nice that we're homing in on local firms and utilising them really as they're utilising us. To add on that respect, Gilly, on business side of things and how things are going.
Well, just in regards to the Morrison's deal, wasn't there a bit of a rift between Ken Morrison and Jack Tardoff going on for quite a few years? Obviously, it's both deceased now, and they're obviously being run by other people. But I think that might have been the case why Ken Morrison was a bit distant from us over the years, because everyone were kind of crying out for him. But I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that that's one of the reasons why they didn't get on very well, possibly.
Is that so?
I think so, yeah. Because obviously it was president, wasn't it?
Honorary president as well for years, wasn't he?
Yeah, since was it mid-80s, wasn't it, when he was heavily involved? But I don't think they got on too well, so that possibly might have been a reason why.
Yeah.
Morrison's have kept the distance for all these years. But yeah, obviously, it's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? And I think it's been quite good since Sparks has took over that job. Really, I think that's kind of has been his strong point, getting them sort of things across the line. Might not be everyone's cup of tea, and on the football side of things, I don't think he's performed very well. But I think things he has done well, and stuff like the marketing and sponsorships and stuff. So all well on that front for me.
Yeah, it's good. We've come on leaps and bounds, haven't we? And I took a before and after picture. I don't know if anybody saw that, but I put a tweet on a couple of weeks ago after the Colchester game, I think it was, and it were a photo of like from the Kop towards the main stand, there like from 4 years previous to now, and the pitch were just an absolute cabbage patch. The dugouts were the old dugouts. You can't even remember that they existed now, but they were awful, weren't they? If you remember, and all the seats were all knackered and broken, and like where the players are in that section down, the Bradford end, that were all sort of run down. And when you look at it compared, if you've not seen it, have a look, because it does look so much better. And it's nice that things are improving. Upgrade the parade, if you remember that as well. That were a fleeting thing to happen, wasn't it?
Have the changing rooms been improved? Because I played there a couple of times as a kid, and it were an absolute hellhole. Was the changing rooms?
Yeah, but you remember when they did it? That was part of Upgrade the Parade, I think. And
was it?
Yeah, but they switched into the home and the away changed. So they left sort of the home end as it was, I think, and then they did all the away ones up, and we went in the away or something like that. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they were pretty bad, weren't they? The facilities in general, I mean, they probably all need a bit of an improvement, don't they? To be fair. I mean, on match day experience as well. Has anybody got up to add? Is there anything that we're missing out on? Maybe at half time, there's nothing going on at half time, or is there something that we could be doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying bring the Bantam Bells back. Props if you're old enough to remember that. But like, I don't know, crossbar challenge, something every club does. Just something, yeah. Because it's just boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, Lee Leopards, I don't know if anybody is a rugby league fan, but they've had. Who did they have last week? They're having bands perform at half time. I'm sure it was Tina Turner or something. No, it might not have been somebody that big. But they had somebody like decent performing, and they've got a band called the Lottery Winners that are performing this weekend coming. They're actually a support act for a band I went to see recently, and they're actually really good. But they've got like these upcoming bands that they're probably paying, I don't know what for, to come on at half time. It's good exposure for the band, and it's good for them. It's a bit of entertainment at half time, and just something like that, even before the game, to get fans in. Just something going on. We used to do bits and bobs, didn't we? Like you say, the Bantams Bells, and we used to do some sort of challenge, didn't we?
We need to get the Tamo sorted though. You can't hear it. Well, in Cop anyway. It's not clear. I don't know if it's clear in other stands, but I can barely understand the word he's saying when he's on mic. You can hear music all right, but when our time announcer's speaking, I can't hear a thing, mate.
I'm totally the same. In main stand, it's fine, because I sat in there not so long since, and it's totally fine. But yeah, in Cop, it's poor. Somebody's put get Zayn Malik and Selena Gomez to do a duet. That's his new missus, isn't it, Selena Gomez? So that'll be another one that we'll be seeing in a Bradford City shirt before long, I'm sure. But yeah, anything to add on the match day experience, guys, at all? Any thoughts that what we could do or what we should be doing? No.
Nope.
We're not paid the money to think about those things, so that's absolutely fine. So, vlogging it football game. So, I've had a few fucking disagreements today on Twitter with folk. I put a poll on asking if vlogging at football. So what I mean by vlogging is videoing like yourself and what's going on the pitch and your reactions to goals and stuff like that, and then people watch it back on YouTube. Is that something that you guys are on board with, or are you a miserable bastard like me that just wants to go to the game, watch the game, and enjoy it as is what it is? Enjoy it and enjoy the experience while you're there. Whoever wants to wade in on this first, please feel free.
Go on then. It's one of them things. I did comment on this on Twitter. It's a bit cringy, I won't lie. I think it depends on your personality, But at the end of the day, it's probably harmless. I mean, they're not hurting anyone. And there's clearly a market for it. People watch it. You know, we've got our own Bradford City who do it, and they do get some all right views. I'm not giving you a shout out. You'll have to pay for that. But I say it's cringy, but we talked about this earlier. People like Bootlegger, they were fantastic. And there's a guy called Smith who does the Palmer's FC stuff on their YouTube, which is quite good. But I wouldn't say I'm for it, but I'm not against it, really. I mean, as long as they're not bothering anyone.
I just can't get my head around how you can enjoy the game when you're trying to film it at the same time. I just can't. And maybe that's just me being old. I'm 30 now, so it was never really when I was young. Like I spoke to Gilly about this before, but like it's just never something that had ever crossed my mind. You know, we've done the live podcast at the games and stuff, and where we've just had it sort of stationary, but not watching the pitch. I don't know. I just it's not for me, and I can understand it when kids are doing it because they'll go back and watch it, and I think it's like probably a kids' audience that are watching these videos and stuff like that. But I can't get my head around it. Gilly, I'll let you come in on that because you've probably got the same point of view as me.
Yeah, well, yeah, you won't be surprised to say I'm a miserable bastard, sort of thing. But no, I'm with Tom. Like it's all harmless. It doesn't offend me, or well, I hope it doesn't offend anyone because
no, it doesn't. It's not
something or nothing. But
I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm just a total nervous wreck when I'm watching football. Like, my phone's the last thing. I'm literally totally wired into football. But I'd understand if we were going to decent, interesting places, but it's Crawley away, like Northampton's. You know, who's that interested? And really, I don't know what these vloggers are aiming for. You know, are they aiming to get big? They're never going to get big, are they, until we start playing big clubs or
like a Thogden of the world. You mean?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it's not going to be that interesting until we start going to interesting places. Really, in my opinion, I just don't see the point at our level, and the stands that they're going to be filming in the shit. None of us ever having a good view. We're all virtually at pitch level. You can't really see anything, can you? Like a lot of times, depending on the ground.
Would you watch a Wembley vlog? Let's say that the season ends in the playoffs. Would you watch a vlog from Wembley?
Personally, not me. I've been to London enough times for other reasons and stuff. I'd only watch it to kind of learn or for something to prick my interest, but
not for enjoyment.
Not for really enjoyment, really. Yeah, I'd watch somebody as a learning curve, not actually for enjoyment, really.
Okay, so Cameron's obviously the youngest out of us all, probably with the best hairline as well. So Cameron,
yeah, I don't mind it personally. I'd never vlog during the game or anything like that myself. But there's obviously demand for it. People are going to watch it. And if it's something they enjoy doing, what am I to comment on that?
Yeah, but you're totally valid to comment on it, I think, because this is the thing that I've learned today on Twitter, that apparently you're not allowed to say that you don't like it because people do it, so therefore you're not allowed to comment on it. And I feel like that's a load of bollocks. Twitter is a place of conversation and saying what you think about things, and the moment that stops, what's the point? So you are valid to have an opinion on it, mate, and you said it doesn't offend you and whatever, and that's fine. And I think that's the whole point in it. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. If you like it, you want to do it, fine. Do you see a purpose of it? Do you see the point in why people are doing it, Cameron?
I just think it's something they enjoy. Like, people could probably argue back saying, why do we do this podcast every week? But if it's something we enjoy, there's clearly people that keep coming back to watch every week.
Yeah.
So there obviously is the demand for it, so why not?
Yeah, it's probably people pissed off at them flags that keep going over their heads, you know. I can't see players coming out.
The all-in-one at flags nearly took my head off over there.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah.
Have you had any complaints yet?
No, but I'm sure people are muttering stuff under their breath. Get the fucking flag up. Yeah, I'm sure, but no, not really. I think it's quite nice to have something a bit different, you know, with flags, and you know, something going on because, like you said, there's nothing, is there? So I think in the main, people are enjoying it. And we're planning to have quite a big one, not a big flag, but a big display at Sutton at home, I think. We were going to do Grimsby, but we can't for one reason or another. But hopefully somebody just commented with an ointment on the chat. Don't know who that is, but love it. Yeah, so we're going to have a flag in the bottom and the top of the Kop. So we've got the two now when we've stitched it up. And then the Northwest Corner lads are getting involved. So they're making loads of flags as well to sort of put around it. So should look pretty cool. But yeah, most people are getting on board with that. Most people enjoy it. I don't know what you boys think of the flags because, you know, being us aside sort of doing it, have you got any thoughts on it? Is it for you? Is it not for you? Would you feel like just fuck off, get your flags out of my way? Or do you quite like it?
I like them, but they need to be stationary.
Yeah.
Like, people, they start like surfing them and it just doesn't work. Like,
yeah, so we tried that. And people just want to sort of push them back. It's so difficult because it's quite a big flag. It's bigger than what it looks when you look at it from, you know, when it's on the fans. But I totally agree. That's what the aim was, to sort of keep it. But once it's sort of going, you can't stop it. The only thing we thought is to put sort of bits of rope on either corner of it and hold it. But I totally with you. I think that there's going to have to be a way that we're going to have to stop them and keep them stationary in the middle.
I like it. Like anything just that keeps fans just like engaged. Like before kickoff's got to be good. Like when I started going in mid-90s, it was like shit-a-row were coming. You know, when players walked out and when is it all ripped up papers? When did that get phased out? You know, they used to be raining down with it, didn't they? With people throwing torn up paper in air and balloons and stuff. Yeah, it's just seemed to that seemed to have gone out of fashion and died, hasn't it?
But as a kid going at football, that's like a memory, innit? You know, when you were younger, you know, things like that. And I remember Lenny throwing stuff at like little footballs and stuff and that in the crowd, and just little bits like that. There's nothing, is there? Like there's no sort of pre-match build up anymore in any way. You know,
just going back to the crowd. I sit in block G in the top tier, right next to corner. Northwest corner looked quite empty, and they were all piled up at the top of there were loads of people piled up at the top of the block. Has there been a change of scene or something happened that I've missed?
Well, I think that those lads that were behind you this week have come from the other side of the Kop, because I think they've all been booted out of there, so they've moved across. So I think they moved across the Kop. But yeah, Northwest corner wise, I think the numbers have been dwindling for a few weeks. I mean, they had the numbers for the £5 game, didn't they? Were packed up there, but yeah, I think numbers over the season, people have like moved back into Kop, but they've put a stop to that now. So I don't think that anybody that are in the Northwest corner can move back to the Kop, because they think that some of them are trouble causers apparently. So they've been sort of kicked out and they're not allowing them to put them back. But somebody's put on a comment, Kop shifted closer to Northwest corner and it seemed to work better. Do you know what? The lads that were at the top of the Kop sung quite a lot for first half. I thought they were pretty good. But the rest of the stadium didn't really get going. But they did seem to be working together a bit more. Gilly, I don't know if you noticed, actually, a bit closer.
Yeah, well, I noticed, like, I always have a quick glance around just out of curiosity. I just noticed how full our block was.
Yeah.
And obviously sounded good because it was coming. I'm literally on front row. I lean on top tier like that, looking over.
Yeah, sweating. So
all sound were coming straight down. So yeah, it sounded great in my block, obviously. But yeah, is that where they're permanently going to be now? According to this?
I don't know. It's probably a good idea, isn't it? If the lads are going to stay at Northwest corner, it makes sense, doesn't it, for them to be there so they can join forces rather than going against, which has been the theme of the season, really. But yeah, atmosphere. I mean, if we do get to the playoffs, that's something that hopefully we can do a bit better at home, because it's been drab on it all season. But on the flip side of that, there's not been a lot to sing about at times, and I think you struggle when that is the case. Anything to add on that one, Tom, Cameron, Johnny?
Yeah, it's one of them things. I think the atmosphere at home, let's not lie, it's pretty poor at times. And yeah, it hasn't helped with that weird sort of division between the Northwest corner and the Kop. To be honest, I haven't got much of an opinion about Northwest corner, if I'm going to be honest. I'd probably skip on that one.
That's fine.
Let someone else. Yeah, I've not got much an opinion.
That's right, mate. Cameron?
Yeah, I think the idea of the corner were brilliant. I just think they did it at totally the wrong time. To me, that corner should have been done the first season where they started really pushing the season tickets, without the McCall season.
Yeah.
That it should have happened a lot sooner. I just think the timing of it was bad. Started at the start of last season. Adam's balls just absolutely drained every bit of passion
my
out of
balls.
half of us.
Derek Adams' ball.
Yeah,
My balls have been draining anyway.
I just think that's half the reason it's not worked.
Because you've got married, Adam.
The only thing that's saving that corner now is if we get a safe standing section.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just...
I'm glad you brought up Cameron the safe standing, because there's been a few murmurs, haven't they, on Twitter about this, that the North West corner are going to get it, and I've seen that. I think Man United got a safe standing section now.
I think a lot of Premier League teams get it. I know Man City have got quite a big one. Liverpool, I might be wrong, I think they have one.
Would you be inclined to move to the North West corner?
Definitely.
Just because it's safe standing?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Right. So do you think that is a really good selling point for them, and that's maybe why they're staying put?
I think it is. I'm not sure on the ruling, but is it only the bottom tier that's allowed standing, or are you allowed it in an upper tier?
I don't know. That'd be, if anybody knows that on the
the ideal thing would be bottom of the Kop, but that's never going to happen.
Well, the bottom of the Kop, that whole game, everyone it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I preferred the drum in the bottom.
Did you see the one of the supporters boards? I don't know. I can't fucking keep track of them, all these supporters board. The one that Nige set up, then there's the other two. One of them released a statement saying that they wanted to get the drum back in the Kop, or they wanted to put a petition forward to the club to get a drum in the Kop, and the club have said, well, the only atmosphere section that we're going to have is going to be the North West corner, and that's where the drum's staying. But I mean, you can't have two drums. I mean, one's bad enough in my head. I'm not a big fan of drums at football, but like, sure, that's just a ludicrous idea, isn't it? No, yeah,
I've never. I don't, because we didn't. When did it come in, the drums? Like 2010 or something. I don't remember it when I was like a kid or something. Really.
They had it in Bradford, and the first time I remember it was when the young lads used to sit in the TL Dallas in Bradford, and they used to do the Dale Cavass, whatever it's called. You know, they do
yeah.
That's when I remember it coming in, and that was probably about 2009, 2010, something like that.
The problem is, if with the bottom tier of the Kop now, I've noticed, just looking down, and I've noticed quite a lot of families in there. So that might cause a problem. I've seen quite a lot of kids in bottom half at Kop. So that wouldn't. I don't think that would go down well. But I think I agree with you. I think 2 would be ludicrous. Like, we do. Valley Parade used to be bumping without it. It's just all down to players. We just when we play on front foot, Valley Parade's class. It's just we just haven't had attacking front foot football for a few years now, really. Since the early season.
You get a corner outside, don't you, Gilly? And it erupts almost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You said it, and that's all we want. Just something going on. We can get off the seats and somebody running at play. Well, Gilly did it, didn't he? Gilly had a bit of a run. Second half against Carlisle, and everyone were just like going mental, and obviously nothing ended up coming from it. But it's just you want something to get off your seat, and like I don't know, is it a bit manufactured at times? The atmosphere? Do you just want it to be natural from voices and stuff like that, or is the drum necessarily in like today's age? I don't know. To be fair, at Doncaster away in the concourse, the drum were class. I was a big fan of it there because it got everybody going, and it were a really good atmosphere. And I can kind of get on board with it at away days, but at home, I just feel like it makes you look a bit tin pot in my head. Any thoughts on that to add, gents?
Yeah, I think people have got to want to sing. Like, you can't force it. You can put a drum there to make a bit of noise, and it'll artificially boost it a bit. But the fact is, people just don't seem to want to sing at the moment, and I don't know if that's down to the football or I'm not sure. I'm not sure the reason, but you can't force these things basically.
You can't, and the what happens on the pitch really helps, doesn't it? And what's going on in the crowd. Just a couple more things to touch on, because we've been going a little over an hour now. Season ticket prices have been frozen again. Really good campaign video that came out. Really impressed with that. And I mean, prices compared to some of the clubs in our league is ludicrous. And it's nice to be on the forefront of something, you know, in regards to cheap tickets. You know, you wish everybody were the same and could afford to get to football. Are we impressed at the frozen the prices? I know that there's been some people kicking off the 25-years that are saying, well, mine's gone up. But in general, it's been really positive on it again.
Yeah.
Class. Yeah. Cost of living crisis. You can't fault it, can you?
Yeah. Banging again. Cameron, go on, mate. You're going to come in?
Yeah. I think I've got a funny feeling if we are to go up low, it might be the last season at this price.
I think.
But even if it does go up sort of 20 quid over the space of a year, and it's another player really, possibly.
Yeah, it's a good point, that, isn't it? I mean, if it does go up a tenner or 20 quid, you know, you think of that money in the grand scheme of things, it's paying for probably wages, isn't it, for a player? Yeah. But I think they'll keep them at a very similar price until we get Championship, if we do get there. Because that's when you can start getting a lot of that away fan sort of money coming in as well, maybe. Because you would lose some. I think if you put our prices up 100 quid, there's idiots like us.
You'd lose a lot at that, but I think even just sort of £20 now that you can do the pay monthly.
Yeah.
I'm fairly surprised. I'm glad they've kept it the same, obviously, but I am fairly surprised we didn't see a slight increase.
Yeah, but it's a shorter period, isn't it, this time, I think, to renew. Yeah. So
they'll probably extend it though, won't they?
Do you think?
But there's one for people to be careful on, because I seen something the other day. The end renewal date is different to your seat renewal date. So it's a few weeks before, and if you've not renewed by then, your seat goes on sale to anybody.
Right. I ain't sat in my own seat all season.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't even know where my seat is. It's in the cop, but I just sit wherever I end up, you know, because you know people, don't you, end up sitting everywhere. But yeah, it's a good point though. It is a good point, that, Cameron, that if you do want your seat, then get it sort of sorted out before it goes to somebody else like me. I'll be sat in it. End of season running. We've got 9 games now. When you look at the games as well, there's not really a lot of tough teams in there. I mean, you look at Carlisle's run; they've got every week they're playing somebody in and around it. We've got the 3 teams I've picked out have been of interest: Sutton, Northampton, and Leyton Orient. So Leyton Orient and Northampton, the last 2 games of the season, which when you looked at it a few months ago, you're thinking, well, by that point, they've both gone up. But it might not quite be the case. So they might be absolutely massive, them 2 games. And Sutton's the other one that I picked out as being a bit of a playoff, because they're sort of getting towards the playoffs, aren't they? Have we got an easy running? Or, I mean, are these the games that we shouldn't be taking for granted? The likes of your Hartlepool, your Gillinghams, your Rochdales, are they the ones that might bite us in the arse, as it seems to be this season?
I don't think you can take them for granted too much, but I'd much rather have our running than runnings like teams like Carlisle. Yeah. I can't exactly remember who they've got, but I was looking through team around us fixtures with my dad the other day, and other teams, they've got an awful running teams around them. And then our 2 hardest games, in my opinion, are the last 2. By then, I think Orient will have done just enough to have gone up. And then I just think it's a Northampton game that could be massive.
There's no doubt it's in our hands, is there, Cameron?
No.
Like it's up to us to fuck up now. I mean, Carlisle are gonna sort of bump the way along. I think Stevenage, I think they're really.
I think they're crumbling. Yeah,
I do think that
other than Orient, and then below us, I think there's only I think below is it Sutton below Mansfield?
Yeah.
I think I can't see them mounting playoffs. I think underneath Mansfield, I think no one's making a push.
Yeah.
I think we've definitely enough for playoffs anyway, but I'm hoping we can put a run together.
Just need to start winning games, turning 1s into 3s. Gilly, Tom, Johnny, ought to add on the running.
I think it's like the Barrow and the Rochdales that are going to come back to bite us. That's already happened, really. But my only issue is, like I've said to you before, if we do need like 3 points on last season for whatever reason, like, can you trust them to throw kitchen sink at it and really go for it and really chase it? I just don't see us scoring enough goals to creep in. I think we're going to have to settle for playoffs, but I'm not very confident, really.
What point would you become confident, Gilly?
If they just showed some signs of being able to throw a kitchen sink at it, that we can chase a result if it comes to it at any point. Like, obviously, when we played Burton in playoffs, we went behind, didn't we? We were at 2-0, and then they kept.
Yeah, who scored now?
Gary Thompson scored, didn't they?
I was thinking who scored for them. It was
Zola.
Calvin Zola, wasn't it?
I remember him, because he was quite a tall lad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
They were him, and then they had that Magoma on wing. They
Yeah.
absolutely ripped as a new arsehole.
Yeah, it looked like, but you're right, and we looked out of it, didn't we? And then we went away, didn't we? Did what we needed to do.
Yeah, and they kept themselves in with a shout. If this team went 2-0 down, I just think it's just game over. Like,
second goal where he pulled in from left hand side, did a few step overs and just
yeah.
I don't think it's a lack of fight. I won't ever accuse them of not having it in them, but it's just I don't know if it's been coached out of them a bit.
There's not that severe intensity, is there? That we've had it in teams before where it looks like we're going to score and crowd are really getting behind them. They just sort of wave after wave of attack. You don't seem to have that feeling, and I'm with you on that. But you do that on Saturday and you get like a winner. The Colchester game to me was quite pivotal because it showed we had it in us a little bit. You know,
but we haven't built on it though, have we?
We haven't. And it is a big concern, especially when you've got potential playoffs to worry about. Like, it is a worry. I know that I might sound totally deluded, but I think we're going to do top three. I do. I just feel like teams are going to fall around us. We've probably had one of the best runs, and we've got then the best running. You know, and teams are all playing each other around us. I think this weekend alone, I think like the top 6 or 7 or whatever, they're all playing each other or something. I think is it Stevenage playing Carlisle or something like that? There's somebody up there, isn't there?
I think nearly everyone in and around us have to play one or two teams at some point.
So you win
top 7 except us.
Yeah, so there you go. So you win on Saturday, and results really this Saturday just gone. They've all really gone for us, haven't they? I mean, somebody was saying no, they haven't, because people won, like Salford won, didn't they, and Stockport, I think. But you want to be looking above that realistically, don't you? I mean, you guys might disagree with that. You might be thinking just do playoffs and be done with it. Go on, Tom.
I'm worried if we make the playoffs and not top 3. I think we really need to go for automatic, because I don't want to insult any of the players because we've got some great characters, but I also think we bottle jobs a bit. I think there's been
look at Rochdale.
Many occasions. Yeah, exactly. There's many occasions this season where we've just been massive bottle jobs, and I don't think the playoffs would suit us.
I don't agree with you.
We've got to really go for it this last 9 games, or we probably kiss goodbye to promotion at all.
I don't with another playoff running either. Just get it over and done with. Just do it the easy way. But no matter what anybody says, in my head, it's in our hands and it's doable. Very much doable. And really, we should be disappointed from now, to me. If we win Saturday, how many points do we go behind? Let's say they both lose. We'd be, 1 point or 2 points off with the game in hand.
Are we 6 points off at the minute? I'm pretty sure.
So if they lose, and that's for the game in hand, isn't
it? Not anymore, I don't think. It might be actually, because we didn't play at weekend, did we?
I think we were game in hand on Carlisle.
I'll just check now.
Yeah, maybe not the other 2.
Imagine if we finish 6th or 7th, get knocked out in playoffs, and we've had Andy Cook who's ended up on 30 goals and not been promoted. It's just
we've got a game
He's not going to have this season again. Do you know? We need to be capitalising on it now.
And the goalkeeper's had the season of his life.
Yeah.
Really.
So we're 6 points behind Stevenage, who are in 3rd, and we're 5 behind Carlisle with a game in hand.
Yeah,
but they're in 4th, so
it's doable. Maybe we're in dreamland, but and Northampton, I think we've got a game in hand on them as well. Like, they're second out there, and they're catchable as well. This weekend's pivotal. It really is. Season defining again.
I'm just not hoping it's going to be one of them where we look back at end of season, miss out by a point, and it's going to be what could have been.
I know.
We're really impressed with Northampton at Valley Parade, but they had a great start, but they haven't really had another good spell. They haven't had another good spell, have they, since?
the only team that have really dominated the season at Orient. Nobody else has looked anything special. From memory, I don't even know. Like Northampton, like I say, when they came to our place, the dictators, didn't they?
I was quite impressed with Stockport at our place.
Yeah, they had
I know
pace
it
and
were
power
only
in all
1-0,
right
but I
places,
thought
really.
they were very
Totally
organised.
outrunners, really.
Yeah, I went a bit funny then. I don't know if it was me.
Yeah, it did for me.
It was probably my stream, but yeah, Northampton were good. And did you say Stockport as well?
I was very impressed with Stockport, even though it were only 1-0 at home. I just thought they were organised, pressed well.
Well, and that'd be my total dread that in playoffs, Stockport. I think they're the team.
I can see it'll either be us, I'm hoping, or them that clinch third. There were one point in season, they were down there, well, not down there at bottom, but bottom mid-table, and everyone's giving it they were supposed to be promotion contenders, and they've just come out of nowhere, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess time will tell. Any other talking points, gents, before we close this one off for tonight?
Is it too early to talk about who you'd try and ship out next season, or would you wait till after the rest of the season is done?
It's an interesting point, isn't it? I guess because it'll probably take us a while to go through, maybe it's a talking point for possibly next time, or we'll open it up on Twitter if you want to sort of get involved, and maybe we'll do a bit of a poll on it. Because I guess the thing is, though, Tom, that a lot of players that we signed have signed on 2 and 3 year deals, haven't they, this time, which we haven't seen for a number of years, and we're all buzzing about it. But in a way, I bet some people are thinking they haven't, and we could ship a few of them out, this pre-season for next season. I think the key player will just leave it on is Andy Cook and getting him signed up. And Lewis. And to be honest, if you signed them two and maybe threw a Critchlow in there and a Stubbs, would you be that disappointed if anybody else left?
No, not for me. I wouldn't lose any sleep at all.
So how interesting is that? And nobody's really saying, yeah, I would. And there's players that are probably coming to your mind. Jamie Walker, I'm a big fan of, but the problem is with his injuries. Like if he consistently played in this squad, it'd be unbelievable. But I guess that's the big concern with Jamie Walker. But is there anybody else that you'd be absolutely devastated if we lost?
I wouldn't be devastated, but I'd look at getting Banks. Yeah. I don't think he'll make it as a Premier League footballer, so I reckon Palace would be willing to ship him out.
Do you not think Banks is just one of many other wingers that come from Premier League that are very much the same, and you can get a lot of them?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean...
Kind of penny, a little bit.
It probably is replaceable, but...
Yeah. They're all just coached, obviously, the same way, aren't they? Whatever club they come from. It must be just the way kids are coached now. Like, they all just seem to be like for like to me. Like, well, we've got, what did you say there is? 9 games to end the season. Let's see who's up for it and who you'd want for next season, in the sense, can they cope with the pressure of the promotion? Do they want it? Do they want it enough? If their asses go, then out they go. Then they're not up to it. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they've all got some qualities, but nobody's nailed a place apart from Cook, really, for me. And for new contract.
Well, new contract, because Lewis is still with us, isn't he? Last point, just before we disappear, is Dion Pereira came on. I would like to see him back in the squad. I think he's got something that's a little bit different to what we've got out there. I know he's not really been confident and decent really this season, let's be fair, but would you give Pereira a bit of a run out over the last 9 games, or do you think it's too much of a gamble? Just the last question.
I'd be giving him a bit of, maybe not starting him all the time, but definitely off the bench.
A bit longer off the bench though than 2 minutes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're 87th minute or something came on, wasn't it? Like,
didn't we get a touch? I don't think.
What's point? Like,
yeah.
Unless there's like 7 or 8 minutes injury time, it's a pointless sub, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah. But would you give him another shot, or have you washed your hands with him?
I've not washed my hands with him. Going up, you need to gamble at some point. You know. I know we're just drawing a lot, and it's gonna cost us. Like,
he's the sort of player that can make stuff happen, isn't he? Though, like, and I know he hasn't done it a lot this season, but he can. He has those moments of magic where he can run at players, and he's got that fearlessness inside him. And Jamie Walker, we're a massive fan of him, and he kept telling us that you know, how good of a player he is, and it's just so easy to him, the game of football. So I'd like to see it.
We're
Go on,
just
Gil.
predictable. We're just predictable.
Yeah.
So any sort of unpredictability for me would be absolutely fine. Just
moves across, doesn't it, all the time?
Yeah.
But even in the thirds or whatever, it just always just goes across the pitch and back and forward, and there's no one making them runs. You're screaming at you for the runs to be made. So, Tom Pereira.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm living in sort of a idealistic fairy tale sort of land, but I've just got images of him scoring an absolute worldie to get us 3 points at some point.
Yeah.
I think he deserves another chance. I mean, like Gilly said, we are very predictable, and he does offer something a bit different, and maybe that's what we need.
Yeah.
I just think he's devoid of confidence, and he needs a goal to get that back, I think.
Or an assist, or just something, a moment of magic.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, he can get some good game time against Grimsby at weekend, and he can make something happen.
Yeah,
I'd say give him
a bit of 15 minutes to, you know, maybe do something, have a go at him, run it, and try and get a second goal.
Yeah.
Johnny,
definitely.
I don't know if you're still there, mate. We can see your ceiling, but we can't see you. Have you gone? I think he's gone. Right, that'll be it then. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you for everybody that's commented and joined on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. We've had about 700 people listening live in total, I think. So we must talk some interesting stuff in and amongst the shite. So yeah, thank you for those that have listened along. Thanks to Gilly, Cameron, Tom, and Johnny as well for joining us. And we'll be back again probably. Maybe do a space after the Grimsby game. Depends if I've had a beer or not. We might do a space there, and then we'll do another podcast after that. Also, all but got signed off Osadibi for the podcast, so we'll be interviewing him. We'll make sure that the sound quality is much better and in somewhere that doesn't echo as much. But yeah, thank you for listening on as always. Take care and have a lovely evening. Bye for now.
Cheers.
Fucking chickens.
Cheers.